What is up, everybody? Welcome to episode 70 of the Hot Soap Podcast. I'm your host, Zach Nunez, joined by Mark, Josh, and Austin.
We live?
As per usual, yes, we're live. So
why is this a new bit you're doing? Every week, the past 2 episodes I've done with Josh and Austin last week, he sat there for like 5 minutes before I started recording, just going, "Are we live? Are we live?"
I don't know. Before we get started, I'd like to remind everybody to follow us on Twitter at Hot Soap Pod. That's at Hot Soap Pod on Twitter. Make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel as well. Like the video, leave a comment if you feel like commenting, hit the notification bell, all that kind of all that kind of thing. Make sure to do all that stuff. I'd like to give a big thank you to Mark and Josh and Austin for holding it down the last 2 weeks while I've been away accepting a new job and dealing with a massive depressive episode. But hey, I'm not dead. So how about that?
Woo!
You prayed on my downfall. You lost, bitch. All right, we're back. So we got a show for you today, this week. We're doing it on time for once, which means we'll actually be able to get things in and not look stupid, which is good. Before we get into our main stuff for today, we got some different stuff to do. We will have in our main segment for the day, we'll have a new segment from Josh that we only know the name of.
That's right.
We kind of understand what he's going for, but I don't quite understand how it's supposed to work, and he's going to explain that to us, and then we're going to do it. And then we're going to talk about Week 11 in the NFL and our bets, and we're going to make a stupid parlay, blah, 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 blah.
Stupid parlay.
Stupid parlay.
So
we're 1-0 in our last one.
Here's the thing. First of all, before we get started, I'd like to point out that this past week on Mark's show, Outside the Box Score, we placed our weekly parlay as we do, right? This time it was 6 legs.
I can get it right now.
It was a big one. Mark, if you could share your screen and show it to us, that would be great. If not, I can read it out. Six legs here. And let's just say that I ended the weekend up quite a bit comparatively to where I started.
Hella units.
Yeah. So here is the parlay that we're looking at. Arkansas plus 5.5, over 144.5 in some random bumfuck.
It was surgical. That thing was surgical.
I was so in on SIU Edwardsville versus Purdue Fort Wayne over.
That
Josh-
smashed it, man. Nice.
Never a doubt.
It did smash it.
Josh brought it up, and I was like, I'm so fucking in on this bet. It's not even funny.
Then we've got Connor McDavid over shots like a degenerate. We have over in the Bears-Lions game, under in the Giants game from this past week, which was the real nail-biter.
That was a sweat. Yeah. That was a sweat and a half.
And then Steelers money line.
I was drunk when I said Steelers money line, because who would give a plus odds in a parlay?
Yes.
I mean, what are you doing?
We all loved it. I mean, we talked about it on the show. Like, we all thought it was a great pick. That's why we put it in. And hey, juice those odds a bit. It was a doozy.
Yeah.
And thanks to this parlay, I was up 250 on the weekend in total.
Yep.
That's surgical.
Well, I didn't realize.
I mean, I won some other bets in there as well. Don't get it wrong, but yeah.
And then
I was up 250. Look at this. Look at these odds here.
Look,
5 to win 231 on Mark's end. It was 5 to win 222
so
on my end.
what happened with Adam and the sham as he described it? So, but I don't understand how he couldn't have gotten Arkansas in when he got the McDavid one in, because he was using a legal book.
Yeah,
he could have just bet it live.
Exactly.
It didn't make any sense.
Yeah.
So then he got essentially my third pick in Wake Forest, because I brought Purdue Fort Wayne to the table. Mark snagged it, and I was like, okay, we'll go Arkansas. And then you
picked Arkansas first.
Did I?
Yeah, you picked Arkansas first, and then I was like, I'm all in on this college basketball play.
Right. But then he didn't get it, so I'm like, I don't know, we'll go Wake Forest, which the logic was all there until the last minute and a half of that game.
Yep.
until the last 2 minutes, and North Carolina was like, "Yeah, we'll kick a field goal," and I was like, "Oh, flabbergasted." They didn't though. They went for it on 4th and whatever within the 20-yard line. It's like 3 times in the fourth quarter. Those teams were destined to not kick field goals. I was close. I had
so
the logic.
I call it a stupid parlay, but let's just say that we're running.
I believe
hot.
that's our second of the year. Did
Isn't
we hit
there
one
a
earlier,
third?
Mark, or was it? It might be that we might have had one just from outside the box score, but still,
it's our third from outside the box score, I think.
Let it be known, I don't think I've had a leg ever.
You're telling me the other two were just on days where I couldn't have bet?
Yeah.
I don't know if you might not have been there or something, but I know we've hit at least one, but I thought it was 2. I think the second one was like a small one. It was like 3 legs or something, which barely counts. You know, they're always 5 or 6.
Right.
But
you need 5 to even consider it.
Yeah.
But it was the first one that Austin's been a part of in a while. So that was nice.
Yeah.
So we'll be putting together our NFL parlay this week, as we be doing. But first, we have trivia to get to, as is customary with the start of the show here. So I'll start with the trivia that I have. All right. Trivia for the 3 of you. 1 question, NFL trivia. All right. I want you, actually, I'll tell you more about the stat. So Tom Brady, going into this last game against the Seahawks, needed 257 yards to take over the lead as the all-time leading passer in international games.
Mm-hmm.
He got 258 yards, so he now holds that record by 1 point.
Solid.
I want you to tell me who he overtook.
What?
Does Doug Flutie count?
No.
Doug
Flutie does not count.
Blake Bortles.
Oh, that was my guess. Damn it.
Josh, you are correct.
No.
Blake Bortles is
the Jags own it. The Jags run London. Let's go.
Yeah, they do.
Let's go.
Blake Bortles was the all-time leading passer in international games until Tom Brady overtook him by 1 yard this past weekend.
That's a shame.
I agree.
Bring Bortles back
for you, right there.
Bring Bortles back for 1 game overseas.
Yeah, let him play it in the Mexico City game next week. I don't even know who's playing in it.
Oh, yeah.
But just someone bring Blake Bortles back. So
1 snap, just 1 throw.
Yeah.
We
take the lead back.
Let me see. Let's see who's playing in that game
next
week.
to get to it, but
No. Just a check down to a running back. Don't even try and throw it on field.
And then you sit down behind the line, and then
then it's over.
Then you're -5. We're gonna make him get a 6-yard pass.
It's the
game is
Falcons
49ers Cardinals, by the way.
Oh yes.
Yes.
I was gonna say if it was the Falcons, he'd throw it to Tyler Algier, who'd just get negative 13 yards on it somehow.
Only when I bet him.
If Kyler's still hurt, they could sign Blake Bortles.
Oh, you're right.
If Kyler was hurt, they could sign Blake Bortles.
Yeah, I like that.
I like it.
Yeah. All right, Austin, why don't you give us your trivia that you've got?
All right, we're staying on the same theme here as last week with the college football. To find these, it doesn't take that much research, but here we are. I actually did a bunch of research today, and then I ended up with this garbage question because, hear me out, all the other questions I had were really cool, but there was always those 1 or 2 guys that were answers that no one would ever be able to guess, and I was just like, I can't make this a question, man. People were going to sit here for
this
hours.
Is 1920s baseball. Mark
yeah,
gotten it.
Exactly. All right. There's a guy named Jason Henderson. I don't know if you guys know who he is. He's a linebacker for Old Dominion, and he has 166 total tackles in 10 games this season for Old Dominion. Give or take some, depending on the website you use. This is Sports Reference. So he's on pace for 199 tackles to finish the year. That would set the all-time record, and only one other player in college football history since total tackles were recorded in 2005 has ever hit 190 tackles. Name that one player.
Aaron
Manti
Donald.
Te'o?
Neither. No.
Aaron Donald, the defensive tackle.
Yeah, listen, man.
Brian Cushing?
That
No.
was a good guess. Kiko Alonso.
No.
Tremaine Edwards?
Incorrect.
Miles Jack.
No.
I'd just like to point out also that the connection's getting a little bit better. You guys are reacting pretty quickly.
And we get another mark guess and then a hint or something like this.
Oh, buddy, I'm not.
I'll say it happened in 2011, and he was a notable NFL player.
Luke Kuechly?
Patrick Willis.
Luke Kuechly, 191 tackles in 2011 for Boston College.
BC Pride.
And I'll mention he also did it without a bowl game, which Jason Henderson will have to do because Old Dominion is not good this year, despite his efforts.
Wait, man. Taylor Heineke's not walking through that door anymore, all right?
Yeah, that is brutal. There you have it. Great job, Josh.
Thank you. Running the table.
What was it last week? I had 4, and Josh, you got 1.
No, I didn't get any. I got routed.
You didn't get any last week? I thought you got 1.
No, I should have. Austin was very displeased with my efforts. I'm pretty sure you ran the table on me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I got 5 last week, Nunez, if you want to update the...
And that's brutal. Run the tapes.
Yeah, man. So, while we're at it, also, we've got some other things to update here. Let me do my math to make sure I got it right. Didn't F it up. But we have FanDuel to update people on, basically. 27. Okay, yeah. Sorry. I accidentally updated the FanDuel standings instead of the trivia standings. So I got my numbers all mixed up. But anyways,
I can help.
I went through this morning and updated the last few weeks of FanDuel standings, and Josh has been on a bit of a roll recently. But I think more importantly, it's the fun part is that Mark has finished in second each of the last 3 weeks, remarkably consistent, which has allowed him to stay in first place of the FanDuel standings through 10 weeks of the NFL season.
I was in first place.
Yes.
I didn't even remember that I was in first.
Mark is currently in first with 29 points. Austin is in second with 27 points, which is extra funny to me because Austin has failed to submit a lineup at least 3 times this season.
How the hell does this even happen?
Come on!
All I do is get first place.
Josh is right. Josh is right on his tails with 25 points. And then I'm bringing up the rear with 19. I mean, you've been truly abysmal.
Your last 3 have been, oh boy.
Dude.
How many does Mark have, by the way, total points?
29.
Okay, so I'm right there. Okay.
Yeah. Still enough time for some shaking in the standings, unless you're me. I'd like to point out this past week, Josh finished in first with 143 points. Right?
It's not bad.
Mark finished in second with 125 points. Austin finished in third with 113 points. And then I was 37 points behind Austin in fourth place with 76.8 points.
Just trying to get
the last
few
weeks have been true garbage.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
There's no sugarcoating in Nunez.
Nobody needs to talk about it.
Yeah.
It's all right. You had Wandale Robinson and Mike Gesicki. It happens.
Yeah.
Get it? Nothing to talk about.
Yeah. Yeah, you're 100% right. Hey, I'm bouncing back this weekend. I'm winning this week. I'm calling it right now. I'm calling my shot.
I'm coming in fourth this week.
You calling your shot? Fourth?
Yeah.
I don't know, buddy. I'm not a huge fan of the lineup I put together. So
I love mine. Do you want to do that now? We're here. Or save it for
No. We can save it for the end of the show. Yeah,
All right.
yeah. Save it for the end of the show. But before we get into Week 11 talk, whether that be betting, things we're interested in, eventual FanDuel lineups, we have a new segment to unveil here on the Hot Stove Podcast.
That's right.
This is the love child of Josh's brain as of yesterday, I think. Saturday. Okay, so just a few days ago. And Josh, I will let you take it away.
Mark's gonna make us a graphic for this at some point. We'll have it flashing up on the screen. This is big time, okay? This is gonna be everyone's favorite new game show we'll play once a week. Me and Austin were sitting together on Saturday, and I'm just looking through the lines. And I just thought to myself, I mean, this stuff's all sharp. I'm trying to find these sharp edges, right? Now, are they sharp or stupid? And that's what you guys are going to help me decide, right? Thank you, Mark. So we look through the game.
We have the lower third. We're ready to go.
That's right. I'll go through and I'll find examples. Tonight, there's 4 examples. One of them is already tipped off, so you'll get to know at halftime if you guys were correct in thinking that it's sharp or stupid, okay? And then you'll have to help me out with the other 3. Okay, so I'm just looking objectively. Let's do the one that already kicked off, okay? The Chattanooga Monarchs are traveling to Ole Miss tonight, okay? They are 10-point underdogs. Ole Miss is missing their starting point guard. They're 10-point underdogs. Is that and to even further sprinkle the pot and what makes this truly sharp, right? That's what we're looking at. The betting splits, it's 50-50 on the money and over 50-50 on the bets, and over 75% of the money is on the Monarchs. Is it sharp or stupid?
So who is the underdog? Chattanooga?
Chattanooga's catching 10 against the Ole Miss Rebels.
Okay, and you're asking if Chattanooga plus 10 is sharp or stupid, right?
That's right.
I'd go with stupid personally.
I'm inclined to say sharp because, I mean, who's Ole Miss? What are we talking about?
This is true. Football school. Chattanooga is a school.
It's true. They are a school.
Is one of the schools in the NCAA. That's
Chattanooga lost that big fella that you remember from last year when they were playing Illinois in the tournament. He's gone. They are a totally different roster.
Yeah.
But 10 points in Ole Miss. Without Ole Miss is probably their best player.
Okay, I'll say it's sharp. Ole Miss, middle of the pack team in middle of the pack Power 5 conference in basketball. I say that the SEC has kind of been predominant the last couple of years. And then Chattanooga, this is where I think it'll be more fun moving forward in the season, where we'll have like more stats about these teams. Yeah. But as of right now, I'll say that Chattanooga is being disrespected, even because think about it this way: what would the line be if Ole Miss had their point guard? What would it be? 15?
Right.
13 and a half? So, I think Chattanooga's being disrespected. I'll say it's sharp.
All right, Nunez is on the board for sharp. Austin's sharp. Mark,
I'm going
sharp
stupid.
Or stupid?
I'm going stupid.
All right, Mark, you are stupid. They're up 1 with 15 minutes left to play in the game.
What?
The Chattanooga Monarchs are taking the lead. They are sharp.
I've seen crazier things happen, man.
True. Let's be clear. You're not stupid
Mark,
yet.
You are stupid.
If basketball was only 25 minutes, you'd be certified stupid. But alas,
I will. For this segment moving forward, I'm gonna make a video like the countdown earlier that just goes on top of one of our faces. It just says stupid.
I love it.
It'll just pop up in front of my face and just
You gotta have
stupid.
Like on the Skype things, Austin, you just pop up emojis of
Yeah. Exactly.
All right, so that was our first one. I'm gonna save the disgusting one for last because I love this and I want it to be sharp. Next, we'll go to the 11 o'clock game. Okay, take me home. Let's look at the betting splits because that's what we're all here for. That's what classifies them as sharp, right? With 30% of the bets and more than 75% of the money, the Vermont Catamounts are 11-point dogs in USC tonight. Okay.
Oof.
Now Vermont's 5-2 against the spread in their last 7 games overall, 7-3 in their last 10, following an ATS loss. And then we go on to USC's 3-14 against the spread in their last 17 home games, 1-4 in their last 5 overall. What do we think here? Is this sharp or stupid?
I'm gonna go with sharp. The Pac-12 has been atrocious to start the year.
It's the Pac-12.
They've already lost 3 or 4 games. Like the conference has lost against nobodies to start the season. I saw John Rothstein talking about it earlier. So I'm going to go with sharp. I'm out on the Pac-12 in general for most sports. I think they're a joke. But basketball the past couple of years, they have been just a bunch of frauds. So I'm going to go with sharp.
I'm inclined to say this is just stupid. Hear me out. Vermont in the past has been a good team who's winning their conference and making the tourney. This doesn't look like one of those years. They don't look very good so far. I haven't seen many good things about them, people talking about them, people projecting them to do very well. And USC is one of those teams. They may play in the Pac-12, but they recruit SEC-type players, if you know what I mean. They recruit athletes. They recruit guys who can go up and down the floor and are just way more athletic than these lower middle conference schools. I don't know. This just seems stupid.
Josh, what did you say the line was again?
11.
Okay, well, let me give you this. Vermont has played 3 games this season.
Okay.
They have played. They opened their season against perennial Ivy League bottom dweller Brown, and won by 15. Then they played perennial West Coast Conference Thorn and Gonzaga's side St. Mary's, and they lost by 26. So, kind of a leveling out there in competition, right? Here's the kicker: their most recent game, Vermont's that is. Let's see. When was this? A couple days ago? November 13th on Sunday.
2 days ago, yeah.
They played. What would your influence be on this question if you found out that 2 days ago they lost by 9 to Cal State Fullerton?
Oof.
They covered 11. That'd be mine.
Yeah.
They didn't.
I know USC isn't very good.
Wait, they were 11-point dogs to Cal State Fullerton?
No, I don't know.
That sounds absurd. If you're telling me Vegas thinks that Cal State Fullerton and USC tie on a neutral site, I don't know about that.
Now USC did lose by 13 to Florida Gulf Coast.
That did happen.
So
say it.
The Catamounts were a 5.5-point favorite in that game, by the way,
against Cal State Fullerton.
Yep.
I'm gonna say this is stupid. I think things kind of start to balance themselves out here. The Catamounts, I mean, USC is one of those teams where it could this Florida Gulf Coast loss probably well, they're the Pac-12, so it probably won't, but could just like end up proving to be like a blip on the radar. I think Vermont losing by almost 30 to St. Mary's and then losing by 9 to Cal State Fullerton, I think that's the real right there. So I'll say that that's stupid.
I should have said stupid because I bet Cal State Fullerton in that game.
But you can change your vote, Mark. We haven't decided yet.
No,
you were the lone goat on the first one.
I'm sticking to my guns.
I'm
sticking to my guns.
Josh, what's your verdict on it? Can you provide verdicts since the games haven't started yet? Or is that
I'm on the sharp side. Let's be clear. There's 4.
You're going to say sharp for all of these. Yeah.
Okay.
He's just a sharp guy. He's actually this every time it's just going to be him coming in with 4 actually just dumbass bets he comes in with.
4 bets that he has money on, and he's just asked us to talk him off the
ledge. And tell me why it was dumb. Yes. But I'm giving you reasonings here.
Okay.
This next one Austin's really gonna like because it's just from a guy. But but there's some background. There's some background here, okay? So let's go to it. This is probably the premier matchup of college basketball so far this season, okay? Duke and Kansas tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Duke has around 30% of the bets coming in, and it's about 50-50 in money. So it's not necessarily totally sharp. But in that lack of bets, Duke has gone from a +2 underdog to now a -1 favorite. The line is clearly moving in Duke's favor with about a 50 split in the money. So that's why I'll give it's a sharp play. Is Duke tonight against Kansas sharp or stupid?
No.
See, this is where you get into the real.
Isn't Duke
nitty-gritty
missing a
of it.
player?
Duke is, in fact, missing a player. One of their starters, yes. And the line has come Duke's way. Freshman, I believe, Grady Dick will be playing. Who's out for Duke? Grady Dick's on Kansas, by the way. Who the hell's out?
That's very interesting that they're out a starter and they've gained 3 points on the spread.
Yes.
I think they're at -2 now, by the way.
Did it really move again?
Jesus.
Sharp, huh?
Sharp, huh?
So you're asking us, is Duke sharp?
Yes.
They're the defending national champs, man.
Yeah.
I mean, Kansas won a title.
Oh, yes.
Oh, man.
Yeah, but how many players did Kansas retain? Is this the same Kansas squad?
Kansas, they don't draft players out of Kansas anymore. They all stink.
They do if they're good. What are you talking about? They still got that fella that transferred from Texas, the caveman looking fucker.
I believe
Brady Manic, is that his name?
Yeah, Manic. Or no, Manic was on UNC, wasn't he?
Yeah, Manic was
on
Manic was on
UNC.
UNC. Yeah.
Trying to find any bit of information. I know for a fact one of their starters is out, and if I just went to the score app, I'd find it.
Yeah, I can probably get it.
I'll say
Derek Whitehead. That's who's out.
Oh, okay.
He's a starting forward who. Yeah, you can go.
That it's stupid. Something doesn't quite sit right with me with that kind of movement.
It's almost too sharp, is what you're saying.
Yeah, it feels too sharp. It feels like almost like rigged levels of sharp.
By the way, this, not to keep interrupting you, this Derek Whitehead fella averaged 17 points last year and 5 boards and 3 assists.
Oof.
So
but I'm sure the young upstart freshman that Duke's got, they're going to take him over anyways, right? I mean, Derek wasn't even going to play this year, probably.
Yeah.
Mark, what do you say?
I will tell you in oh, hey, I had another bet. Cool. Well, I'm just now seeing that because I'm going into FanDuel and placing a wager on Kansas money line. Because
I guess we know what he thinks here.
I think it's quite stupid. It's just I don't know, man. I don't get that movement. I don't like that movement. You got a new coach at Duke and John Shire, and I know that he's been there, and I know that he knows these guys, but new head coach, big game, first big game that he's ever coached at this level. I'm going to go with the team that I think is, Bill Self is I believe he's already a Hall of Famer, if not a future Hall of Famer. Defending national champion. I'm just going to go with that squad and roll with them.
I'm going to roll with Mark on this, call this stupid, but not for anything in reality. Just for the thought that I think Vegas is caught on. I think they do reverse line movements to get everybody on the reverse line movement.
Yeah, I think, well, as far as I know, betting lines are set to induce betting.
Yeah.
So it used to be, reverse line movement. Everyone's going to be dumb and bet, Kansas money line. Idiots. Why is Duke favored? But now everyone's sharp. I mean, this kid Josh is sharp now. I mean, if any random guy
what the hell does that mean?
Sitting in a room in Rome can be sharp. I mean, now the reverse line movement is actually how they bait you into betting Duke. Kansas is winning this game by double digits.
Wow.
All right. Well,
Wow.
Josh, can I petition to have Quinnipiac men's basketball included in the segment at some point?
You will, yeah. They not tonight. They're now losing as 10.
Did you see that halftime score?
Quinnipiac?
Yeah, the halftime score was like 74.
No,
to
I
60.
did not.
Yeah, it was like 74 to 67, I think.
No, that's not them. They're down 69 to 68 right now. So
I could have sworn that was the Quinnipiac men's basketball account. Were they playing Dartmouth?
Probably James Madison would have been that. James Madison's put up another 95 tonight. But yes, they are playing Dartmouth.
Yeah, I could have sworn.
Yeah, the Quinnipiac over is the real play every single game this season. As much as Baker Dunleavy likes to preach defense, their team can't play it. So, yeah.
Slow to this guy, Mark. What's going on over here?
What?
But yeah, they are now losing to Dartmouth.
That's not good. They were winning and covering all game.
Yeah.
I got one more left. So I think that was a sweep. That was the first unanimous stupid. Correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Great. I think you guys are really gonna like this one. By the way, Mark, the Rebels are up 8 with 10 minutes left. I think you're really gonna like this one. Okay, because I really like this one. Here we go. Oh God. Yeah. Okay. Less than 50% of the bets on this team with more than 75% of the money on the cover. And on a plus 575 money line. And I know it's kind of like silly to say money lines with these large spreads because it's normally just parlays for the amount that's on there. So the money is going to be a little different.
Yeah.
But with only 5% of the bets on the money line, almost 50% of the total handle. So like I get that's a little skewed, whatever. We'll spring. South Alabama hosts Alabama tonight. Okay. Alabama is 1-6 against the spread in their last 7 games following an ATS win, and 0-7 in their last 7 Tuesday games. Well, the over is 10-1. Okay, I don't care about the over. South Alabama is 0-4 against the spread in their last 4 home games, and 1-4 in their last 5 games overall. Okay. Now, let me tell you why South Alabama has a chance. South Alabama, Bama. This game's being played at 10 o'clock at night, 9 o'clock Central, I guess. Late night game. South Alabama, let me just say, I know a guy who called the student box office. This game's a sellout, okay? This thing's packed. The people are going wild. Huge rivalry game. 12-point dogs, South Alabama. Alabama, what makes it a little scarier too, Alabama beat their first 2 contestants this year by more than 20. Then they get to play South Alabama, a Ken Palm ranked team outside of the top 250, and they're 12-point favorites. Come on, that's a little small, don't you think? Why is it so small? Is it sharp or stupid?
Are you saying Alabama minus 12 is sharp?
No.
Okay.
Why is South Alabama catching 12 sharp or stupid?
Basically, what he's saying is sharp has evolved into just the opposite of common sense when you instantly look at it.
Yeah.
When you instantly look at it and go, Alabama should be covered. Yeah, Alabama should be favored by 25. So if they're only favored by 11, I'm on South Alabama.
Well, not only that, again, the money's right. The money's right. It makes sense. South Alabama, big rivalry game. Sprink on the money line.
It sounds. You know what this reads to me?
Stupid.
Josh? No. I'm on your side. I think this is sharp.
I do too.
This reads to a bigger extent because Alabama's a better team. This reads Siena Iona from last year to me. Remember that game, Josh?
The gold game? Do I remember the gold out?
Where
of course.
Iona, Rick Pitino was going in. They were like 10-point favorites against Siena. And Josh told me beforehand, the game's selling out.
Mm-hmm.
It's a gold game. Big rivalry. They're trying to beat Pitino. And guess what? Siena won the game.
Yeah.
They won. Now, what this also reads is George Washington against whoever the fuck last year, where Josh told me basically the same reasoning. And the George Washington student section was like wearing wigs and shit.
Yes.
It was James Madison. My bad. James Madison. Yeah. It reads that too, but I'm putting that aside.
What about the Indiana Mike Brown suit game? What about that?
Oh,
that great narrative
it reads
from last year.
It reads that too. Yeah. reads all of these. But I think let's take a look. Let's take a look at the strength of schedule for each of these two teams, right? Let's take a look. South Alabama has played Mobile College, beat them by 38. Then they played New Mexico, the Lobos, perennial bubble team sometimes. Lost to them only by 6. Only by 6. Now, I know what you're saying. Alabama's ranked, right? Not only is Alabama ranked, they beat Longwood by 21.
Longwood, historically not that bad of a school also.
And then they beat Liberty Bibberty, known football school, by 36. Liberty also a perennial bubble team, by the way. I'd like to point that out. On narrative alone, this is sharp, I feel. Because, like, this is one of those things where, like, you look at it and it doesn't read as sharp. It reads pretty stupid, right? There's no way that Alabama should only be favored by, 12, right? 12. There's no way that Alabama should only be favored by 12. Doesn't make any sense, but they are. So you know what? I'm leaning into it. South Alabama's covering.
Still got an hour.
That's sharp. That's
still
sharp.
got an hour to get it in, Nunez.
Josh, not only am I going to say this is sharp, I'm going to tail this with you.
Come on, Austin. Bring it home.
It reads all of those things that Nunez said, but it also reads, this is, believe it or not, a rivalry game. Like, legitimately. It doesn't sound like one, but it is. To me, it reads whenever Syracuse plays either Pitt or Georgetown. I don't care. Like, Syracuse could be undefeated, which they won't be because they just lost to fucking Colgate by 12, which is why I'm trying to open this little shooter of Jameson and the cap won't come off. And so Syracuse could be undefeated. Georgetown could be coming into the Dome for their last 58 games. Syracuse, if they win, will win by 3. It's just the way it worked. I remember it was either last year or 2 years ago when SU played Georgetown. I texted you and I was like, put all of your money on Georgetown plus 10.5.
Yep.
And you were like,
they did cover.
And they covered. It was in the Dome, and they covered fairly easily because it's just how those two teams play basketball.
This Duke and UNC.
It's Duke and UNC. It doesn't matter.
Duke, UNC, Georgetown, Syracuse, Alabama, South Alabama. I mean, some of the greatest rivalries the sport has ever seen.
So
if I could interject for just a second, I found some numbers on the history of this quote unquote rivalry.
Oh no, he threw the quotes in.
No. Cut it.
You might be overblowing it just a little, but
got it.
Here's the numbers. These two teams have played each other 4 times in their history as programs. They're currently in the middle of a contractual 3-game set. The first of which was played in 2010 for some strange reason. And now they're playing game 2. Alabama won game 1 in 2010, and then they will be playing their final game in Tuscaloosa next season. That's beside the point. So before this 2010 meeting, they had met twice before. In 1998, a game in which Alabama won, and then their first matchup ever was in 1989 in the NCAA tournament. These two teams met. Their first ever matchup.
There's history there. This is a South Alabama revenge game for the 89 tournament.
This is a game in which Jeff Hodge hit a game-winning 3 at the end to beat Alabama for South Alabama in a game that's now known in South Alabama lore as the shot that rolled the tide. You want to know why this is important?
Is
that
Jeff
game
Hodge
was
there
at a
tonight?
neutral site. The other 3, I don't know. The other 3 games have been at Alabama. This is the first time. This is their 5th matchup. This is the first time that it is a home game for South Alabama.
unload.
in the history of the flat world.
Stop selling me more. This is crazy.
This is such an oversell. It's
South Alabama coach Richie Riley
Mark
said this earlier. He said,
"Where is it? It's not on FanDuel." No.
Do you know the mascot for the South Alabama team?
I do not.
They're the Jaguars. The South Alabama Jaguars. No clue.
yes.
I mean, that was a good team back then, though. Jeff Hodge, Junie Lewis, Gabe Estaba. I mean, these are perennial all-stars.
Oh, I found it.
Wow.
I have some quotes from South Alabama coach Richie Riley. This is what he said.
Before this game
He said, and I
tonight?
quote, yes, about this game tonight. He said, and I quote, "It's a special night when we get to play Alabama in the Mitchell Center. We have a venue that's a Power 5 venue. It's big time. To be able to fill it up, there won't be an empty seat in the house. I'm very appreciative to Alabama for bringing their team up here. It means a lot to Mobile. It means a lot to our program."
I have not only placed 2 units on South Alabama plus 10.5. I have placed a unit on South Alabama money line.
Gosh.
Wow.
I'm not saying that South Alabama is going to win. That's not what I'm saying. But because of all this history, and like I said, first matchup at home for the Jaguars, this is sharp.
I love this.
It's sharp.
Let me tell you, I got a text about a week ago from one of my college basketball insiders. He wanted me to bet against Louisville and ride Bellarmine. And then I said, "The hell is this sharp? ? What the hell is this?" And he told me, "The battle for Kentucky. The place will be packed in Bellarmine for the first game in a while, essentially." Does that not ring a bell? Bellarmine, Louisville sounds like South Alabama. This is going to be a battle for Alabama. The crowd is going to be roaring, and that's why this is stupid. Alabama is going to win by 30 or 40 or 50.
The best part about this is that the episode's coming out later, so the game will have already happened.
Oh, yeah.
The people will know.
Listen, I love to ride with you guys, and I'll ride my money, but I won't ever ride my opinions. Those matter too much to me. Alabama's clean taking this. 25-30 points. It's a stomp. 91-62. How's that for you, everybody? Alabama. Stupid.
Oh, Austin's a Debbie Downer.
Oh, no, I'm riding. No, as soon as we close this, I'm all in. I'm South Alabama.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool.
But public opinion is all that matters to me right now. So,
yeah,
is that game going to be on ESPN Plus or something? I need to watch Alabama, South Alabama.
Yeah,
I've never needed to watch a basketball game more.
Yeah, I'll be there.
All right,
is that it? Is that the last one?
Yeah,
that was it. That was the first installment of Sharp or Stupid.
Love it.
And as we speak it through, by the way, Mark, 14 points down is Chattanooga. So, from once a certified is stupid, is now looking quite smart,
quite sharp.
Yeah. All right, that was a great segment. I can't wait to do it again.
Oh yeah,
we are going to turn our eyes forward to the NFL slate this week, and as we do, in looking forward to the slate, I want each of us to pick a game through the vestige of a bet that we would like to place, I should say, this upcoming week, and tell us why you like it, why you find the game interesting, or why you find the bet interesting. If anybody has anything in particular that jumps out to them, the floor is yours.
I'll go with the easiest one to get in right now. You might have remembered it from last year with the wind game that was that Monday Night Football game with the Patriots and the Bills in Buffalo. It was the snow game years ago against the Colts. Philly's done one. Soaring under this week in what could be 4 feet of snow in Buffalo, New York. The under 43. Yeah. Lock it in now. I mean, it opened at 45, and it is soaring down. That will be in the 30s by the time game time kicks off. Get your numbers when you can. This thing's going under.
Yeah.
Nothing
in
more
that
to say.
way, I'm very excited to watch. Let's take a look real quick actually and update the people on the best prop known to humankind, and that's Nick Chubb rushing yards. Mark, if you want to pull those stats up, the viewers can see that through 10 weeks, 9 games, Nick Chubb has had 904 rushing yards this season.
That's pretty good.
So Austin's prop that he gave us, which was 1,200, over 1,200 and a half. He is now 297 yards away from hitting that prop with 8 weeks left to go. So Nick Chubb looking pretty damn good moving forward. And I mentioned it on this show that I went a little bit further and put some money on Nick Chubb at plus 1,200 to lead the NFL in rushing this season. Currently, through 9 games, he is third in the NFL in rushing. Had a pretty poor performance this last week that kind of pushed him back a little bit. So now Saquon Barkley is leading with 231, so he's 27 yards ahead. And Derrick Henry is also ahead of Nick Chubb now, but he's well within earshot of the NFL rushing title. And more importantly, he's going to, barring injury, should smash the prop of the century that Austin gave us. Like this is Kyle Schwarber over 30.5 home runs level.
Easy
of
money.
Like a Wooga prop. You know what I mean? So I do like the under. I do like if there's a prop on Nick Chubb rushing attempts this week, hit the over on that bitch. A lot of run in the football in this game.
Yeah. Nunez, do you have another bet? Are you just riding with that or?
No. I got one.
Oh, okay.
Classic letdown spot abound for one of the worst teams in the NFL. That would be the Indianapolis Colts coming off of a win against the true dumpster fire known as the Las Vegas Raiders in Jeff Saturday's first game as an NFL head coach. And guess who they get coming to town this week? The 8-1 Philadelphia Eagles coming off of an embarrassing loss on national television to the Washington Commanders and their backup quarterback. I do not care. Quinnipiac just won against Dartmouth, by the way. I do not care that Matt Ryan will be starting this game. What I care about is that the Eagles are 6.5-point favorites. I will be taking the Eagles minus 6.5.
Is it in? Yeah, okay. It had to be.
It is at
Indianapolis.
Yeah. This is
if it was
classic.
in Philadelphia, it'd be double.
Yeah.
This is classic come down spot versus rebound spot. I expect a full Eagles bludgeoning in this game. Candidly, you look at the disparity between the talent on these two teams. It's looking like Louisville playing Bellarmine. Am I right, everybody? Oh, that's a bad example. I'm sorry.
It's a horrible example.
My bad.
It's more like Louisville playing Wright State. Oh, wait a minute.
It's more like Alabama it's playing South Alabama.
It's like Syracuse playing Colgate. Oh, my bad.
Oh, shit, dude.
I'm sorry.
Listen, I already did the shot, right?
It's more like Nuga down 8 with 3 minutes to go.
These two teams are not. These two teams are not created equal, roster-wise. These two teams are not created equal coaching-wise. One has an NFL coach who has proven to be able to scheme things properly and work with the talent that he has on his team to create one of the best offenses in football. The other one has a coach who has coached one game in the NFL and was a bad high school coach before that. All respect to Jeff Saturday, by the way. And my favorite thing on Twitter was that 7 days prior to his NFL coaching debut, he was tweeting Raiders look terrible from his couch. It's like the personification of that shit ain't hard.
Yeah.
He was watching it like every guy does, watching it on Sunday. Going, the fuck, I could do this shit. And then he goes and does it the following week.
An inspiration to all of us couch coaches everywhere.
Yeah. But unfortunately, those good times must end, especially against one of the best teams in the NFL coming off of an embarrassing loss on national television. Eagles minus 6.5 is my parlay play.
I love that.
Yeah, that's it.
Just something I'm just seeing now because I hadn't I'd taken a check, but I hadn't really looked at the gambling slate. Jets +3 I really like in New England. I just think the Jets are a better team than the Patriots right now, which is a very strange thing to say. The Mac Jones love affair between fans and their quarterback seems to have ended. A lot of Patriots fans, they just hate Mac Jones. And I can see why. I know he hasn't been entirely healthy the entire season, but the decision-making is not what they signed up for. When he was drafted out of Alabama, he was heralded as this, great decision maker, and that's the value he brings. I just like seeing New England -3 there. I really like the other side of that. I'll probably be throwing some down on Jets money line in that game because I think they could go into New England and beat the Patriots.
How's about for this one for an underdog play that you'd want to play this week? How's about Bears money line? 3-point dogs on the road at Atlanta. One of these teams has proven to be interesting over the last few weeks. The other one has proven to be the Atlanta Falcons.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna keep it real with you, Chief. After the Falcons, they had their fun in the beginning of the season. They ran the ball a lot. Cordero Patterson is 32 years old and looks like he's 22. Yada yada yada. Right, but the ugly hands of fate have shown themselves once again. And guess what? The Atlanta Falcons still have one of the worst rosters in football. They still have a quarterback who is at best average. They still have pass catchers who he does not throw it to. And when he does throw it to, he throws it to them poorly. They still have a generational tight end talent and a wide receiver that they drafted in the top 10 that can't muster up red zone targets because they don't give a fuck to throw it to him.
Yeah. I mean, Justin Fields is the 6th highest rusher in
what's coming on the other side is him. Yeah.
Justin Fields is him. I think Justin Fields is proving to be him in recent weeks.
As you were talking, Mark, I just put down I put down a maybe a unit or two. I won't disclose how much on Bears money line at +140. That seems juicy to me.
I like that as well. I do like that dog play. What the fuck? The Saints are... I'm sorry. The Saints are favored by 4? Oh, John Wolford's playing. That's right.
No Cooper Kupp. No, nothing.
Oh, did Cooper Kupp get hurt?
Yeah, he's on IR.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah. So that team's in shambles. So.
Well, honestly, does he even come back this year if they're, dead?
He shouldn't.
No.
I mean...
I don't think so.
Probably doesn't. My team might be in shambles. My fantasy team just might be in shambles.
All right. Yeah. This, what I got for you guys here today is heart and passion. I messaged the group chat about 3 weeks ago, said I got a rant to go on. Hear me out. The rant still exists. I kind of teased it to Josh, I think, last week what it was. The Tennessee Titans defense is, I don't want to say fraudulent, because they don't break. They don't give up a lot of touchdowns. They don't give up a lot of points. They are tremendous against the run. But in terms of props and fantasy football, they are probably the most abysmal defense in the league. They give up the most yards to anybody, and they give up an insane amount of 30-yard plus catches to guys' names you won't even believe who are catching 30-yard passes. I took the time to make a list of all the guys who've caught a 30-yard pass against the Titans this year, and it's disgusting. Sterling Shepard, Stephon Diggs, Jake Kumaro, Mac Hollins, Alec Pierce, Mo Alley Cox, De'Ami Brown, Curtis Samuel, Brandon Cooks, McCole Hardman, Justin Watson, Jake Virgil, and Kendall Hinton all have one or more 30-yard catches. Some have 2 or more.
I think De'Ami Brown got released.
Jake Virgil catch, by the way, was a 60-yard touchdown. A 60-yard touchdown on Jake Virgil's first NFL catch.
Yeah. I might add, I also made a list of guys who have had either their number 1 or number 2 fantasy day against them. And I made sure it was guys that suck. Sorry, Josh, for this first one. Richie James, Sterling Shepard, of course, but he got hurt, so we'll take him out of the equation. Jake Kumaro, Mac Hollins, Foster Moreau, Mo Alley Cox, Kyle Granson, De'Ami Brown, Paris Campbell, McCole Hardman, Noah Gray. I mean, some of these guys if you look at their stats for the entire year, they only have one game where they even have more than like 2 targets, and it's against the Titans, and they have 2 30-yard bombs and a touchdown. This defense, I don't know how it's possible that this team is actually so good and going to win that division. It must be coaching of some sort, because they have the worst offense in the league. They have the worst yards defense in the league. They just win. They're just winners. But that's why my bet this week, hear me out, is going to be any Green Bay Packers receiver over yards. Any one you want. I don't care. Right now, on the books, I'm favoring Tanyan over 27.5 yards. He's hit it 3 out of the last 4 weeks. He didn't do it against the Cowboys. They dropped Minka back in coverage most of that game, unfortunately. Robert Tanyan was not athletic enough to beat out that young folk. But that's a guy who's just – they give up a lot of stuff over the middle. They give a lot of catch-and-run stuff, as you can imagine, giving up 30-yard passes. That's a guy I just love to see it. Robert Tanyan over 27.5 receiving yards. I'm probably going to be on Allen Lazard. I might be on Christian Watson if he plays. I mean, let me be honest with you. I'm just riding yards in this game. Aaron Rodgers, his total yards passing prop, he's only hit twice this season, I believe. And it just happens to be that high because everybody knows the Tennessee Titans defense is stinky. That's what I got for you.
Josh died. Why did you die?
Nuga
Josh?
had it. Nuga's down 12. They have a last possession, and some guy just throws up a 3. I hate the 3 ball. I hate lanky, tall losers jacking 3s from the half-court line like Steph freaking Curry. Chattanooga. I'm done. I'm done with the Monarchs. They are no longer Cinderella. They no longer love. They're terrible, and I hate it.
Called it. You called me stupid.
True, I did openly call
Mark,
stupid.
Mark, what's your bet? What's your bet for this week?
Oh, I was saying it. It's the Jets.
Yeah, he's
yeah. Seeing that line. I didn't know if that's the one
you were sticking with.
Oh no, I'm sticking with the Jets, which is weird, because I normally always bet against the Jets. I really don't like the Jets, but just looking at the 12.5 for the Ravens now, it's 3.5 on FanDuel, so I'll take that. I mean, listen. I might sprinkle a little on the money line, and by might I mean I will be sprinkling some on the Jets money line. But if I can get them for more than a field goal, 3.5, I have a feeling that line might move. Patriots at home, people don't like to bet against, so I'll probably wait a couple of days, see what we got there. But yeah, I'm just, despite the fact that Zach Wilson can't get 100 passing yards, I'm just going to stick with them. I think they're a fun team. I think they're a good team.
A fun team? You're just saying words now. I think you're just saying things.
Well, at this point. I mean, I think the running attack is fun with James Robinson and Michael Carter. When Garrett Wilson gets in the open field, I think he's tremendous. You can ask the gentleman that I work with on the radio, and constantly am I shitting on the Jets. So the fact that I'm actually saying positive.
By that, which one do you mean? When you're talking about a guy you work with on the radio, which one are you talking about?
I hope he doesn't watch this.
I love you, Paul.
I know he won't, so it's not a problem. But I'm constantly shitting on the Jets. So the fact that I like them it's shocking to me and should be shocking to everyone else. But I just like him a lot this week. I don't know what it is. I'm not high on Mac Jones.
Let it be known that I disagree with your logic wholeheartedly, but as a fellow co-host on this show, I will ride.
Well, I'm probably not gonna put that in the parlay.
Well, that's what I was asking. Okay.
Oh, you just said a bet for this week. You didn't specify your parlay bet.
That's probably not what I'm going with in the parlay either, man. I'm getting a little more nuanced and sharp with my picks, you know.
Yeah, I thought we were just talking bet. I'm not putting a plus or a.
I just wanted to use that excuse to pull out all my sheets that I wrote down all the Titan stats on that I have almost, like 10 times more. Don't worry about it. But
yeah, I'm not going to put a dog in the parlay.
Okay.
True.
So what are you going to put in it?
Parlay bet? I was about to say the Vikings over the Cowboys, and I realized they're a dog as well, which I don't like that. Well, I mean, I do like that, but I'm not for a parlay.
And it makes no sense.
Yeah.
You know what that means?
I mean, I have it as a pick-em personally.
The early money on DraftKings is telling me that the Cowboys might be sharp early on. But no, it's honestly, it's too early to even say something sharp.
Yeah.
People have been betting on it for 24 hours. Not even.
I'll do I'll do the Commanders -3.5 against the Texans. In Houston, the Texans are horrible. The Commanders coming off a big win. And I like Taylor Heineke. Carson Wentz might start this week, which is strange. Sure. I don't think he should. I think Taylor Heineke should start for this team the rest of the year if they want.
Chase Young is back this week.
Oh, he is?
Let me tell you.
Yeah.
Nothing is crazier than the fact that Taylor Heineke also sucks, but he just gets his team more hype.
Yeah.
That's the biggest difference. Nobody wants to play for Carson. He's just a boring old freaking jamoke.
It's really funny to see what the general consensus is on quarterbacks, like where they're seen and stuff. Because you're right, Carson. No matter if Carson went to Washington and had his 2017 season all over again, he'd still be a loser, right? Nobody loves Carson Wentz, and nobody will ever love Carson Wentz. Just like Justin Herbert can do no wrong. Justin Herbert can continue to lose games in LA and be praised as the next coming of Christ just with bad, unhealthy receivers. When are we going to start calling the question? I'll call him out every single week.
I mean, yeah, what do you want him to do about Justin the eternal bad luck of playing for the Chargers?
I want people to acknowledge.
We would say he stinks if he were playing poorly.
Yeah, I don't know.
Josh,
wins aren't a quarterback stat. They've never been, actually.
You were the under in Bills Browns, correct?
That's right. I'll stick with it. I mean, just hop on it. It's going to end at 37.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 43.5 on FanDuel right now.
Yeah, I don't mind that at all.
And Austin, are you sticking with Mr. Tanyan?
Absolutely not. But you stole my other one, but I had a third one in store. Forget about it. Don't worry about it. Nobody even sweat it out. I got the New York Football Giants covering the 3 at home against the Detroit Lions. The most public bet of the week. Probably, I'm going to guess. At what point can we just say, Dan Campbell aside, whether he's a good or bad coach, it's just they're not a good team. They're not winning. They're not close to winning. A 3-point dog to a team who's 7-2 right now, or on the road. What are we talking about?
I ought to send along the video I sent Austin the other day of why DeAndre Swift has regressed to nothingness. Some guy was calling him out on TikTok for just being abundantly terrible. No, he's not.
I don't even know what it.
Yes, he is.
I don't.
No, he's healthy.
What? Just
he's
because
not
he's
healthy.
on the field doesn't mean he's healthy. That's not how that works. But also,
why is he playing at all?
I
agree, but he shouldn't be playing, but he is.
I'll send you.
But he's not healthy.
My favorite thing was that when he came back from injury a couple weeks ago, and they gave him 5 carries, and Dan Campbell said in his post-game presser, "quote We might have given him 1 too many carries."
Yeah, I saw that.
That was not great.
By the way, Kentucky overtime might have saved your bet there, Mark.
Oh, are they?
Kentucky, yeah, Kentucky up 5 now in overtime with 3 minutes to play.
Oh yeah,
Love that. So parlay is in. We've got
Love it.
Commanders -3.5, Eagles -6.5, under 43.5 right now. It will go down in Browns Bills, and Giants -3. That's 5 to win $64.54. Boom.
I like it.
Bada bing.
And you know what I like just as much as winning money? Putting in FanDuel lineups. So we're gonna get crack-a-lackin' here. Get to our FanDuel lineups of the week. If anybody would like to start, go first. Be my guest.
Yeah, I'll start. Winner goes first, I guess. We'll start.
Yeah.
Yeah, third place goes first. Yeah.
What? I won last week, didn't I? Oh, I didn't put it in.
No, you did. You did win last week.
Yeah. I'm in third place.
You're just in third place overall. Yeah.
Let's start with what doesn't matter, okay? It's defense. Defenses don't matter. It's the Raiders' defense. They're mad cheap. I needed cheap, and they're playing the Denver Broncos. Hear me out. They're playing the Broncos. They might score a combined 16 points in that game. I love it. Give me the under.
Yeah, the total's like 42 right now, by the way.
It makes no sense.
Mm-hmm.
It makes a lot of sense.
Well, yeah.
I can go to the advanced analytics of the fact that the Raiders have given up the over to the opposing team's implied team total in 8 straight games, and Denver's implied team total is I believe 22 right now. So,
what are you trying to say?
Fine, man. I'm not trying to say anything. I'm just saying.
My quarterback stack of the week is we go to a game where someone has just shown that they have absolute blinders on. Since their return, they have targeted this receiver at an ungodly rate. It's Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb. Dak has gone back to his classic self, not running the ball and being successful by getting out of the pocket, by just targeting one guy as many times as possible. So CeeDee Lamb is that guy.
What is he going to do? Funnel those targets to Noah Brown?
Michael Gallup, Noah Brown, Dalton Schultz. There's plenty of options. Tony Pollard, even. Some would say. It's okay. It doesn't matter. Maybe OBJ is coming to save the day in Dallas. Maybe the savior, the guy who hasn't been healthy, who can't be healthy. Maybe he's the savior. We go on to running backs, okay, against this Dallas team who's been giving up rushing yards like they're free, like they've got an EBT card they can hand out and you just come get free meals, okay, whatever you want. This is that Dallas defense. Dalvin Cook might go for 300. Okay, locked in. They suck. They have been terrible, especially running to the outside. It's tough to watch. Then we talked about him a lot early on today. He's in that Buffalo game. It's Nick Chubb. Feed Nick Chubb. Give this guy 40 carries. That's what we all want to see. We want to see in the trenches football next Sunday in Buffalo. I'll go with my flex spot because this is the other last pretty much good soul of the team. This is Dameon Pierce. He's top 5 rushing leader so far this year. Eno Benjamin signing in Houston does befuddle me a little bit because it seemed like he had gotten rid of Rex Burkhead, but now that they have a slightly younger, better Rex Burkhead, maybe they want to try and incorporate him some more. Probably not this week, though, so I'll be happy to keep him this week, but we'll see. We'll see what happens there. Dameon Pierce, I am a little worried about Washington's front 7 again. Philly struggled with a little bit yesterday. We'll see. Then my wide receivers will go to a guy who might just be the best wide receiver in the history of sport. Christian Watson. This guy's electric, okay? Coming off a 3 touchdown
against
game.
The Titans, baby.
He is playing the Titans. They do stink, and he's mad cheap. He's probably the cheapest a guy's ever been coming off 3 touchdowns at $5,400. And then somebody who got their first touchdown in a uniform last week, it was Kadarius Toney, okay? Kadarius Toney, another cheap value, and I think just every week you're going to see this guy's production go up and up as, he gets back healthy from his gruesome injury that was clearly affecting him throughout his tenure in New York. I'm just really happy to see this guy get healthy. And then finally at the tight end position, Nunez, you know him, you love him. 2 touchdowns last week. He's starting to get there. You have him in our Dynasty League. It's Cole Kmet. Cole Kmet just might be the guy that Justin Fields likes. I mean, certainly he doesn't have many wide receiver options to go to. Darnell's fun and all, but Cole Kmet's there. So that's my team. That's my winning team for you this week.
Well, I'll the actual guy that's in first place will go second here since Josh basically just stole the tee box from me after getting a triple on the previous hole. And one similarity or two similarities in our lineup. Speaking of things that don't matter, I also have the Raiders defense. It's gross. It's 3,200. They're playing Russell Wilson, who is just about good for a pick seemingly every other week. So I'll go with them to get a pick. Hopefully it's a pick 6, but if not, that's fine. I went big time game stack. I took a page out of Nunez's book, which I don't know why, because his formula clearly hasn't worked the last few weeks. But I am going game stack. And it's in a game where I think there are going to be a lot of points, and that's Chargers Chiefs. I went with Justin Herbert and Austin Eckler. No wide receivers available for Los Angeles ever. So what does that mean? It means Herbert's going to go to Eckler, and I like that combination. For the Chiefs, I went cheaper but high upside. I went Isaiah Pacheco and Kadarius Toney. Toney did find the end zone for the first time in the Chiefs uniform last week. I do think he is playing better. Josh said it all. That injury was fake. He just wanted to get out of New York. He's fine.
Oh,
you implied it. You implied it.
I said that I'm just happy to see this guy playing football doing what he loves. God respect. Much love.
I'll say it. Injury was fake. He just hated it there. Wanted to get out of New York.
He hated winning.
It hated winning. That's why he joined the Kansas City Chiefs, a franchise that typically loses a lot of games, especially when Patrick Mahomes is playing quarterback. Isaiah Pacheco has officially become RB1 in Kansas City. He was used like it last week. I like him to be used like it again this week. Other two wide receivers, I went with Jahan Dotson, Washington playing Houston. Houston stinky poo-poo. Dotson had a couple of nice plays last night against the Eagles. I really like the upside. He's coming back from injury. So I think there's a lot of upside there. Excuse me. And I went with T. Higgins, Bengals versus the Steelers rivalry game. Without Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow has to throw the ball to somebody, it seems, unless it's just Joe Mixon going off for 5 touchdowns like he did a couple weeks ago. But I think he'll throw the ball a little bit to T. Higgins this week. Tight end, I've got George Kittle, 49ers, of course, playing the Cardinals it was Mexico City, correct, Nunez?
Yep.
Yeah.
Correct.
And so at elevation, ball's going to be flying. Jimmy G is going to actually find a way to throw the ball down the field. And he's going to be doing that to George Kittle. And in my flex, I've got Jonathan Taylor. The Eagles' run defense without Jordan Davis has been abysmal. I do like the Eagles a lot this week, but they can't stop the run right now. What worse player to go up against if you can't stop the run than Jonathan Taylor?
Electric.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got the worst lineup this week. It's going to lose. This is just, I mean, once you hear this, you're going to go, you really spent all your money? That doesn't make sense. My stack this week, not a traditional stack. I'm talking about the flex and defense stack. Brian Robinson Jr. and the Washington Commanders defense. The Commanders defense is going to eat Houston alive this week. They're a good run-stopping team, and they're good at rushing the passer. Two things that make Houston a completely irrelevant team. Davis Mills can't move. He can't make reads quick enough. And if they can't run the ball, that offense is abysmal. It's going to be a problem for them. And then, obviously, if that happens, the game script is going to feed more into Brian Robinson than Antonio Gibson. We'll see a lot more running downs. We'll see a lot more running for them. And Houston is the worst rushing defense in the NFL. So I see Brian Robinson running hard, really being super effective. I'll save quarterback for last because that's my most irrelevant position. Don't worry about it. My next two running backs, David Montgomery, Khalil Herbert going on IR this week. David Montgomery should see his touches go back up to the 15-plus marker. Atlanta can't stop the run, and we should probably see a regression of Justin Fields taking every single touchdown at some point. I think Montgomery will get into the end zone probably once this week against Atlanta in a game that has the highest over-under on the slate somehow. Well, besides the Kansas City, I think the Chargers game maybe, but this one's the only one over 50 as far as I'm aware. So there's going to be touchdowns scored. Dave Montgomery is going to be on the field way more than he usually is. My next running back, another positive game script, Miles Sanders against Indy. He didn't have an amazing night last night fantasy-wise, but when he got the ball, he looked effective. He looked good. He should arguably be getting 10 more carries a game than he ever does. I think in positive game scripts, he definitely will get back to that, so I should see 15 more touches for him. My receivers against Tennessee, Alan Lazard. I still think even after this week with Christian Watson, I think Alan Lazard's still the most trusted receiver on that roster. He's still going to get 10-plus targets this week. And he's got a path to breaking for a lot of yards against that defense. Cortland Sutton against the Raiders, with Jerry Jeudy likely out for this game and the Raiders defense being a bottom 3 defense in the league this year. I can't see why Cortland Sutton wouldn't get plenty of targets, plenty of touches to hit those marks and ultimately score a touchdown. My next receiver is going to be a New York Giants receiver, not named Wendell Robinson. It's going to be Darius Slayton. He's got the largest air yards on this team by a large margin, and he's got the most red zone targets, aside from, handing off to Barkley 7 times in the red zone, which is what they usually do. It's a good spot for him in another game that should see a lot of points, at least for the Giants, because Detroit can't defend me. My tight end, I'm going with the safest option possible this week, and that's just going to be Travis Kelce. In another game that, we've seen a lot of shootouts between AFC West teams in recent years. This could point to that again. And without Juju, you lose a guy who is sitting down in those zones and catching free passes. You might see Travis Kelce explode for a lot of targets this week. And then my quarterback, the most irrelevant spot on the field, against a defense who's been getting shredded despite their quarterback being the best fantasy quarterback in the NFL. Marcus Mariota against the Chicago Bears. Mariota, a guy who will never get you less than 15 fantasy points. He's always got the running factor. He's going to be in a positive game script because Chicago's scoring at a crazy rate. You know what? Let's see what happens.
Sure, we will.
It's a
see
move.
What happens? Yeah, it's a move for sure. Mark, I don't know if you saw the update. Michigan State just tied it at the buzzer. We're in double overtime now.
It saved your bet. It saved your bet. Kentucky's back.
And Duke just gets pro.
I will move and go with my Roto-Rooter Raggy lineup of the week. We're going to hit it with a classic here. Game stacks abound. Losing efforts abound, right? Boom. So first, game stack, game of the week in my IMO. Maybe this will be the week. No, I think the Vikings kind of proved that they're like minorly legit this past week. A bunch of extenuating circumstances aside, I'd like to see the Vikings play a normal game in which they play a good team well. Like, that's what I want. I want a game where they play and there's not like 10 pounds of fuckery going on. Maybe we'll get it this week against Dallas. I've got Dakota Prescott with his top 2 pass catching options in CeeDee Lamb and Dalton Schultz. Running it back with Dalvin Cook. Josh and I were thinking simpatico here, right? Similar thoughts. Game stack, going to be 2 wide receivers on the either ends of this Thursday night football game between the Packers and the Titans. I'm going to go with Christian Watson. We're constantly tailing to see, is this guy the number 1 in Green Bay? Is this guy the number 1 in Green Bay? Who the hell knows? But I do know that Christian Watson did have 8 targets last week, and he did turn those 8 targets into 3 touchdowns. So maybe Aaron Rodgers will go back to him this upcoming week. I don't know. It's only a guess, right? I assume Allen Lazard will still be the most targeted receiver, but doesn't mean there can't be room for another well-targeted receiver. We're going to bring it back. Excuse me. We're going to bring it back with the fellow who has been the number 1 receiver for the Tennessee Titans as of late, and that's Nick Westbrook-Akina. with 8 targets last week and 2 touchdowns of his own.
Wait, I'm sorry.
Against this, yes.
Are you Nick Westbrook Hakina?
I am not.
Okay, my bad. Sorry, go
on. Against a Packers defense that can only be described as lesser than the sum of its own parts. I'm not saying that Ryan Tannehill is going to put up gaudy yardage totals or anything like that, but Nick Westbrook-Akina could very well get another 8-9 targets in this game. That's fine with me. Finishing out the lineup, running back and flex, Austin Eckler and Brian Robinson. Like Austin mentioned, Washington should be in a pretty positive game script here against the worst run defense in the NFL. And against the Eagles last week, in a game where they were winning, the running backs got a lot of carries. Let's put it that way. Antonio Gibson had 17 touches. Brian Robinson one-upped him and had 26 carries.
I was going to say, I think they ran the ball 49 times as a team.
Their 2 running backs combined for 40, or their top 2 running backs, I should say, combined for 40 carries.
Yeah.
So expect them to do some of the same against an even worse run defense. So maybe Brian Robinson will be able to top that century mark for the first time in his young career here and maybe get in the end zone as well. And then we're going to go with the Broncos defense against the Raiders at 3,900. The Broncos still have a really good pass defense. And the Raiders are in absolute shambles right now. Mark Davis, Mr. Bullcut himself, gave the vote of confidence to Josh McDaniels. I don't know why, but he did it.
I would
have
fired him on the spot, dude.
Head on the road. They're going to head on the road to Denver. Let's ride, Broncos country. Their defense is going to ride to stopping the Raiders from scoring. They're going to ride there. And we're going to ride out of the show. That we're
to the bedroom,
the sunset now,
with each other.
To the bedroom because I'm tired and I'm not doing sexy things. I want to go to bed.
I'll cuddle you up.
Anyways, all right, that's fire. Let's do it.
Let's
watch USC.
Like
let's watch USC versus Vermont together.
No, we're watching South Alabama.
South Alabama versus Alabama. My game.
Hell yeah, 20 minutes.
We're all going to crawl into one bed together. It's going to be a beautiful thing.
Yeah. All right. Before we head out, by the way, Southern Illinois University of Evansville, following up their over against Purdue Fort Wayne, is now down by 40 to like Missouri or something like that. I don't know who they're playing.
Yeah.
But anywho, yeah, that does it for the show. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at Hot Stove Pod. That's at Hot Stove Pod on Twitter. Here on the YouTube side, subscribe to the channel, like the video, leave a comment if you feel like commenting, hit the notification bell, do all that stuff. Follow Mark on Twitter. Oh, I'm so sorry. Follow Mark on Twitter. Listen to Outside the Box Score every Saturday around 11 a.m. at some point, especially now that we're getting hot. We've been hot the last couple of weeks.
We have.
We're getting hot. On the parlay sheet.
Oh, it's time to be real as well. So, yeah, we're getting hot in between the sheets, and we're being real at the same time. I just snapped my be real. So make sure to do all that stuff, and thank you for watching the show as well. If you've made it this far, I appreciate it. Otherwise, we love you, and we will see you next time.
Peace.